Okay, when I was previewing yesterday's video, just before it was released onto YouTube, I was looking at this. There was a scene where I could see this little strut here, and I was thinking to myself, that looks like it's broken off. And then, if you remember, I touched this with my finger, and I could see, sure enough, it was broken off. I didn't break it off when I touched it with my finger. It was already broken off. Now, I was just sitting here watching this scene, and I was thinking to myself, I don't actually remember touching it with my finger. Because I would remember what it felt like on the end of my finger. My memory works in a funny way. Apparently, it's not working as good as it used to, though, because it was not my finger. It was a pair of tweezers. So I'll slip on the macro lens so we can see what's going on here, but I've got to try and get this into place and put a little bit of CA glue on it and see if we can't just fix that before we start looking for the photo etch, the ladder, and so on that we need for these other pieces over here. I broke it already. Now we'll just use Mr. T's poking device here. You can see where this has come out. I don't know if I can get it back in the exact same spot or not. Maybe if I push on here. I'm thinking that if I try to use CA thin, it's going to end up running down the bulkhead. I'll just push that down just a little bit here. Nope. It's almost there. It's up there. I think that's I know you're not supposed to pound on it like a hammer, but it worked. I got it back in the same little socket that it was in before. Now I'm going to try and put, I don't know, maybe I could try a tiny little bit of thin, because the thick, or the medium rather, is going to sit there like a blob. I'd certainly have something just... Okay, now, while I'm thinking of it, you can't see it, and I'm going to have to turn the ship around. The mirror image to this, it's also broken out on the other side here. And I don't know, I guess when I was handling this thing, I must have got a little careless. I don't know how I did that, because I was trying to be so mindful to, I knew that I had a lot of really delicate stuff going on there. But I guess I must have, I don't know, sneezed or something at the wrong time. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get it. I've repositioned just a little bit here, and I've got the thin. Now I'm going to have to repaint anyway, so if it runs down the side, okay, let's just leave that. We have turned our hood around. See, we're going to have as good a luck with this one as we had with the other one. It's got to go just, I think you can probably see where it's supposed to go there. You know what, I think this is going to work. Just push it this way a bit. If it could just lock into that same socket. Oh, went too far. Almost there. Whoops. I'd like to get in there. It's in the same place as it was before. Okay, I'm just going to reposition a little bit here, and we'll put a little bit of CA on that. Oh, you can see it running down the ladder there. Well, like I mentioned, I'm going to have to repaint anyway. Okay, I think that's going to be alright. I do recall when I was putting those on a few weeks ago the first time, I was thinking how, very easily they could be pulled out of the joint. Alright, I'm kind of wondering, should I reinforce the other ones? No, let's just be careful. Oh, and for those of you who are like me and like to see perspective, okay, there's perspective for you. Now, as long as we're talking about perspective here, if you remember yesterday we were running around parts that we're going to be working on shortly with our little figure here, Popeye the Sailor, our little 1/200 scale action figure. And anyway, after yesterday's video had uploaded, I thought, I wonder how Scott's doing with his 200 scale Titanic that he's working on. And he's on step 30, or on part 39, and I do believe he did mention in 38 he was going to work on the figures, and he did, and he's got these fairly highly detailed 200 scale figures that are period appropriate for the Titanic. And I was sort of wondering, is there anything like that that has sailors? You know, because obviously you can't put civilian dressed people on a ship like this. It just wouldn't look right. But you know, if there's sailors, I'd be quite interested in getting that. You know, and have them sprinkled appropriately around after everything is built here. I think that'd be pretty good. You know, it gives you an idea of how large some of these things were, like this cabinet here that apparently had ammunition in it. Anyway, yeah. Okay, a little bit of time has passed here. I've turned our ship around again, and I'm a little bit concerned here, and this is why I'm a little bit concerned, but only a little bit. Why did I not notice that there were 3 of these braces that had broken off? Well, once again, I noticed it when I was editing out those last few scenes. This one also is loose. Now, I'm putting it down to the reason why I'm not seeing it is because it is so small, and because it is almost in the right place as it is, and when you look at it, your brain tells you everything's okay. But, you know, I should have thought to check. Now, I did check the 4th one, and it is on. So actually, only 1 of these braces was glued in place. 3 of them had broken off. Yeah, you can see this a whole lot better than I can, quite often. And that's why I see stuff in editing that I don't see when I'm actually sitting here at the model table. Now, I'm thinking here that I'm wondering if I was to grab hold of it with Tony's tweezers so that it doesn't scratch the paint off, could I put it in place better? Or am I just going to end up bending something? There. Okay, let's let all those joints cure, and then we'll touch everything up with our number 22 here. And I guess you probably guessed I'm doing this just to show perspective. In the comments in yesterday's video, at least 2 people talked about the rabbits. And what am I doing about the rabbits? Well, I know I fed them carrots last winter, but this winter I've chosen not to, and here's the reason why. Now, I know we had a lot of rabbits last winter. We don't have quite as many this winter, but we still got a lot. But what we do seem to have a lot of is coyotes. Now, I don't mean we're having them, they're not as plentiful as the rabbits, but it seems that whenever you get rabbits, then the wolves and the coyotes start coming around. Now, most of my neighbors, in fact the neighbors on both sides of me, have dogs. And some of these dogs in the neighborhood are pretty small, about the size of a rabbit. And a small dog would make a tasty meal just like a rabbit, to a coyote that is. And yeah, so I don't want to have people thinking that I'm attracting the rabbits, which is going to attract the coyotes, which is going to maybe make it difficult for them to keep their little dogs safe. Yeah, so that's what's happening with the rabbits. I guess not much, actually. Now this is our number 22 that has been thinned to about 33%. I just want to get the glint off of the photo etch. That's all I want to do here. I don't think I need to try and paint the underside because we're not going to be seeing it from the bottom anyway. And if I do try and paint the underside, I'm probably just going to end up touching the bulkhead there. Okay, I'm going to go and do the connection on the other side. Both connections on this side I believe were broken off and just one on the other side, so I'll only have to paint the one. Well, I think I got a little bit too much there, maybe. I know that it will evaporate and shrink. So why is it then when I said I think I've got a little bit too much there, why didn't I just take a little off the brush? Now, what about this edge here? Just try and get it to blend in. Yeah, we'll take a look at that later once everything shrinks. But it's so pooled there right now that it's actually covering the rung of the ladder. Wonder if maybe one of Jim's Q-tips here. Okay, by the time I found them, it's probably dried. I have spent the last few minutes here. In fact, it's been quite a few minutes on the computer looking at a website. Now, here's what happened. Yesterday when I was looking at Scott's video and in his comments, I sort of asked, is there, 200 scale figurines that would be appropriate for a battleship? And Scott got back to us. Scott has provided us with a link here, and I went on the link. And yeah, there's an outfit in Europe. I'm presuming it's in Europe because everything is in euros. When I click the About button, I can't find too much about them. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm assuming that this is the same outfit that Scott got his 200 scale figures from. And if he was satisfied, and they did look good. Anyway, I do believe they, by looking at them, they must be 3D printed. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe they're molded. But it doesn't matter. They look good. I don't know if what we would get would be as good as what we're seeing here. But, well, they sure look good. Some of them will be similar. There are 3 different sets of Royal Navy working figures in 200 scale. Yeah, that would be, now mind you, they're about 40 euros, which is around 55 Canadian dollars. So plus shipping, we'd be looking at a bit of coin here. So I got to think about that. I'm also going to contact the local hobby dealers here to see if maybe they are a dealer for this outfit, which would be even better. Anyway, yeah, thank you, Scott. Now, before we put the macro lens on and look at our ladder here, I have to mention that those photos that we just saw of those little 200 scale figures, those were obviously, at least to me, computer-generated images. I don't think the real thing was would be that smooth. Yeah, I don't think there is 3D printing that can print that smooth, at least not yet. Not that I know of anyway. I thought I'd better just throw that in, that we weren't actually looking at photographs. Unless I'm wrong, we weren't looking at photographs of the actual images. We were looking at what the computer would like them to print out like. Kind of like Stefan Drambinski's drawings. They were actually computer generated, and everything looked nice and smooth. Anyway, about my little brush right here. When I went to edit out those last few scenes with all those pictures, I'd forgotten to clean out my brush. When I came back, I'm guessing about 2 hours has passed now, and this little brush was as hard as can be from the Tamiya XF22. And I used a little bit of Windex, and it's just like new again. Now at the top of the ladder there, where there's the rail and the rung sort of covered up by what looks like paint, I think that's actually the CA glue. The CA glue does not evaporate or shrink, whereas the paint will. So, yeah, that's too bad I did that. I got a little bit over exuberant there with my CA. Now, I'm not going to be making any promises about how I'm going to be spraying tomorrow because I don't know what's going to happen. I've learned the hard way that if I say tomorrow we spray, you can almost be guaranteed we're not going to. But I think we will. Probably later on this evening, I'll get these pieces mounted on these blocks here, the same as the rest, and we'll be able to use the rotator. Now, these little things here, which I seem to be losing, I should get them mounted somewhere on the, probably, where could they go? Probably go right in here. It's not gonna, okay, something like that. Now I know you're zoomed away back and you can't see it, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna work. There we go. Anyway, I think that's it for today, folks. Thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow. Maybe in the spray booth.